guy I ever seen in my life. He got up on the top of the hill above us, and our crates that the K rations and stuff come in had a piece of wire around them. He got up there and he was throwing this wire over our head. And he just stand there and laugh when we hit the ground and that sort of thing. I'll never forget that.
So you had a little bit of humor in the battlefield.
Right, right.
Yeah, okay. All right. So during this period of time, I assume you were communicating back and forth to home, where you're.
Well, yeah, we would be able to write, but we didn't get letters. Maybe say 3 or 4 weeks before we get our letters, our answers back.
Okay.
Because it was hard to get things up there.
Right. Right.
I had one experience here too. I'd gone a long time without any letters, and we were in the backside of a mountain, and water was hard to come by. What they did, they had troops from India who never went into combat, but they had Indian troops that had mules, and they would put water cans on the mules and bring them up to us, and we were allowed a canteen of water a day. That's for cooking, drinking, washing, whatever you want, a canteen of water a day.
Oh, okay.
So when we would run out of water, we would take in melt snow.
Oh.
Have you ever tasted burnt water? Well, that's what melted snow tastes like, burnt water. But we could wash our hands a little bit, and you didn't drink too much of it, but that was one way we'd get on. And then...
It was wet.
Yeah, it was wet, right. Well, the snow was wet too,
right.
It was cold.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But at one point there, they found a stream, or a spring coming out of the side of the mountain. And my job was to take one of these mules and take them over there and load these water cans up from the spring. It was on the back side where the Germans couldn't see us. And that happened to be the day I got my mail. So I'm sitting over there with this big mule and I'm reading all my mail. It worked out beautiful.
Okay. You almost had like a break there.
Right. Yeah, it was a rest. But I had never been near a mule before in my life either. That was an experience.
So I assume you held the mule okay?
Oh yes,
okay.
Yeah, it worked out all right.
Okay, all right. Let's see. You were a staff sergeant, and there were E6 staffs. I mean, did you get promoted fairly well?
I didn't receive the staff sergeant rank until after I was out of the infantry.
Oh, okay.
See, I was kept overseas for another 8 or 9 months after the war.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't have enough points. People were going to Japan. In fact, I was assigned to go to Japan, and I was down at the port ready to get on the ship to go to Japan when our orders come through that the war ended. And I was retained in Italy for another 6 months or so.
Oh, okay.
And that's when I made my staff sergeant
Okay.
at that time.
Okay. Okay. All right. So you would have been a sergeant, though, anyway. You would have been a sergeant.
No, I was a corporal as high as I was in combat.
Oh, okay.
In combat.
Okay. Okay. To war, let's say once the war was, when you realized the war was coming to an end, what were you doing at that point in time? Were you still at the same place that you were?
Oh no!
Okay.
We advanced across the north of Florence through the mountains and all the way across the Po Valley, which is a great big valley in Italy. And we were actually entering the Alp Mountains. We were started into the Alp Mountains, and we just hated that because we'd been on flat land for a month or something like that, moving, and then we seen these mountains and we started up them, and boy, we hated it. But that's when the word came that the war was over with.
And you felt relieved, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
So we celebrated by drinking grappa. Have you ever drank grappa?
No.
Grappa is a wine that's made out of grape seeds. One mouthful, and we spit it out, and one of the guys took a match and threw it down, and it just flamed up. The worst stuff I had ever touched in my mouth.
Oh, boy.
Entertainment.
Yeah.
Now, you indicated originally you started out with a squad. You were in a squad, and there was 12 of you.
Yeah, well, there was we were in a platoon, 3 squads.
Right. Okay. Did your platoon or squad? What were the casualties like? Did you lose any buddies or?
Oh yeah.